So I'm on the BJJ Fanatics website, and I see 3 new videos by some guy named Thomas Radzinski. You familiar with that guy at all?
Nope, absolutely not.
No? Well, he's got some good stuff. Three brand new videos. They're getting amazing reviews, which is good to see as well. But you got to tell us about them real quick?
Yeah, I had, you guys already know, but I had opportunity to go to Boston, shoot 3 more instructionals, 1 on butterfly hook, complete guide for butterfly hook, 2 wrap, lapel, and submit them, and 3 we have taking the back. It's particularly designed for guys for over 40 because there's no climbing involved. All the back takes are on the ground. Very, very full and effective system. So dip into it. I'm really hoping that this is going to help your jiu-jitsu and really take it to the next level.
BJJfanatics.com. Just search ROZDZ. We have all had that situation where after classes when we want to ask a question. And Thomas, a lot of those questions you've already answered, right, at Ask a Black Belt.
Yeah, it's another podcast that I'm running. It's on podcast, all podcast platforms, plus on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. Just search for my name, search for Ask a Black Belt. At this point, over 100 episodes, different questions, jiu-jitsu, life-related, but something that everybody comes across, and often these questions sink in our mind, but we don't ask for whatever reason. So if that benefits you, go there, listen. It actually might help your jiu-jitsu, might help your life as well. And if you have any questions, find me on Instagram and drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer your question and mention your name during the episode.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we alive.
Here we go.
Another one, check. My bucket list.
Yeah, here I got all their names written down here, so I'll look it up real quick. We've got 5 now.
We got John
Almost
Will,
halfway
we got
there.
Ken, we got Chris Howder, we got David Mayer, and Bob Bass.
Yeah, Howder, Will, Meyer, Gabrielson,
Gabrielson, yeah, Ken Gabrielson.
Bob
yeah.
Bass.
Mhm.
1, 2,
Bob
3,
Bass, 5.
4, 5.
5, yeah.
7 more to go.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
Dirty Dozen.
the Dirty Dozen, right?
Dirty Dozen. Listen, you train jiu-jitsu, you got to know what Dirty Dozen is. These are the originals, the OGs. And I'm not even talking, we're not talking the Gracies, we're not talking about Brazilians. These are the non-Brazilians.
Non-Brazilians.
These are not Americans. The non-Brazilian. Not all of them are American, but definitely guys who have started in 70s, 80s, it way back before jiu-jitsu was jiu-jitsu, before you existence of UFC. These guys have the original stories from garages, from training with Machado brothers, with Gracie's, with Horian and Carlos Senior and so on. So a lot of history behind these stories, and I personally do feel like if we don't document it, some of them will fade away as time goes on.
Yeah, well, some of them aren't very, there's a couple of them aren't active on social media at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all academy owners.
Yeah.
They're not all in the limelight.
Some of them are not even in jiu-jitsu anymore.
Yeah.
Some of them their life shifted away from jiu-jitsu and they don't do jiu-jitsu anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, some of them are very difficult to get hold of, like MIA, off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where they are. So anyhow, we got 5 of them, 7 to go.
We're working on it.
I'm on a mission. So we'll continue plugging away. But in the meanwhile, Bob Bass, what's your takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, and I don't know if we're going to do the whole 15 minutes or so on this, though, is like he did not get the recognition he deserves. He's the one who told Rigan to start a school in the United States. Rigan was on his way back to Brazil, and he said no. Well, he didn't say no. He said, hey, man, you should open a school, and Rigan called some family members, probably all the brothers, and the next thing you know, the Machados and the Gracies aren't getting along anymore. And so I don't.
We'll let you listen to the episode whether that was Bob's fault or not.
Right.
But
Sounds like it was.
Well,
fault. I don't know if fault is the right word though, because fault implies
wrongdoing.
Yeah, or negativity. I think he knew that these guys had something to offer, and they should stay here and offer it rather than just go back home, and keep doing it there. So he saw an opportunity for. And maybe that's what we could talk about, but I feel like he saw an opportunity for Rigan to make a life here for himself, and he certainly did.
Yeah, I mean, Bob definitely is a very opportunistic person. He alludes to this throughout the whole conversation that, at some point I asked him what your life would be without jiu-jitsu completely, and he says, "Listen, you will never know if you don't take that route." So and you and I, we often talk about this. Like we have set of opportunities presented in our lives, in front of us, and it's up to us to take them on, or say no, this is not what I want to do, and move on and go to something else. But many times throughout our life, these opportunities will change the trajectory of where we are going and who we are.
Absolutely.
Right. And I'm not talking about buying a car. I'm talking about, it taking this job opportunity and moving to a different stage, or starting jiu-jitsu, or, perhaps completely giving up your career and starting something else, or maybe even, sometimes it's much smaller than that with a bigger impact. Meeting somebody and shaking their hand, and that creates a subset of events that would never take place. Matter of fact, if I think about it, our entire life is set of opportunities, one after the other, the after the other. Like how many times things happen as a consequence of something that was completely coincidental.
Sure. All the time.
It's almost every single day.
Yeah.
Just we don't recognize them as opportunities because we take them for granted.
Right.
We just simply ignore that fact and we continue on with our life. But like I even know here, there's so many people I personally have met. Many of them I consider friends, and a lot of them have impacted me in a way that I would never, ever go that route if they were not present on the mat.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, that makes total sense. And I think that something that happens is, like you said, you take it for granted, right? You never sit back and reflect on it and be like, oh, A, B, and C happened because of X, Y, and Z, and I think people need to do that a little bit more, because then I think it makes you realize the importance of these happenstances and these people and things like that. And it makes you take stock in it, so that, maybe you'll stop taking things for granted, and see when an opportunity arises, how impactful it can be, and maybe you'll sit down ahead of time and think it out more rather than, either ignoring it or jumping right in.
Right. And then not every opportunity is good for us.
No.
Right. At least not at this present point of time. I mean, there have been many in my life that I said, this sounds amazing, but the time is not right. And I simply have to bypass it. I have to skip that. At the same time, the point of reflection that you talk about, oftentimes that allows us to appreciate things a little bit more too.
Yeah, for sure.
Seeing what happened, what could have happened, what didn't happen, who contributed to it. And then oftentimes that's how some of those strong relationships get created too. We appreciate the good things that people have done around us, and thanks to them, we are able to do what we want to do and be who we want to be,
Right. Yeah. I don't know where we're going to take this for the next few minutes, but it just seems to me that when these things, I also believe that these opportunities come because of the things that you're doing. It's not like somebody just throws something at you because you're there. The things you've done in your life up to that point have presented this opportunity to you, whether it's your education, it's the friends you've made, what you've shown someone about your character, things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe there's something here for you, or maybe there's something you could do in this scenario, and they come about that way.
Yeah. No, it's
because we said coincidence a couple minutes ago. Sorry, it's not a coincidence, really. It's seemingly it's a coincidence,
right?
But
well, you already know I'm a big fan of things happen for a reason. You know, whether we believe it or not. I think there is some greater, I don't know if script, but there is some greater direction that our life should go. We still have freedom of choice. We still have a power of selecting what we do and how we do and where we're going. But there is some kind of a larger design. And call me silly, but that's how I believe. I think if we fail, it was meant to be that way. It was meant to be that way for, maybe we need to learn a lesson. Or maybe whatever was happening from the success that we didn't achieve wouldn't take us where we need to go. That's how I think about it. I mean, again, call me silly, call me naive. Honestly, I don't care. Because that gives me peace of mind that, one, I can only control things that I can control. And one of those points of control that I have is taking opportunities that are presented to me. And I can take them on or I don't. And I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong. There is a consequence that will follow it. You know, and some of them are more impactful than others. Mm-hmm. But I don't see it as a right or wrong. I think many times, we find ourselves in these spots where people trying to figure out what is the right thing to do. And I don't necessarily that I look at it that way. It is an opportunity. It is a chance that we can make something out of this subset of events, a subset of this. What's the synonym for opportunity? I'm saying this word like 75 times. But
I think what is it you're making the best of everything, whether it's something good or something bad, and you're trying to make the best of it and have it. So if you fail, if you fall in some way, what can I learn from it? What can I do to not have it happen again? Mm-hmm. And that's speaks to your character and who you are. Where a lot of other people, when that happens, they're like, woe is me. Or they play the victim card, or, everybody's out to get me, or life sucks. And, if your outlook on life is that it sucks, it's going to suck. Nobody's walking around happy, achieving things, saying life sucks all the time. There's points in time of your life where it's going to suck. And you see a lot of people like bashing whatever. But there's always, for every bad thing that somebody brings up, I can counter that with something better. For every person that hurts somebody else, there's somebody out there taking care of others. Mm-hmm. A brick falls off a building and hits you on the head. Well, there's people there to pick you up. And, so, I think that speaks to who you are as a person. If you're looking for the good in all these other things, even the bad stuff, what can I learn from it? What can I take away?
Yeah, I think as humans, it's very easy for us to get suckered into this negative vibe. Life sucks, and this is difficult. Oh, it's Monday again, and all those things. And listen. First of all, I'll be the first one to say life is not simple. It's not easy. It shouldn't be. Anybody who tells you life is easy, they are lying to you. It shouldn't be. Life is not easy. However, life is hard for a reason, because we need to continue growing as humans. We need to get better every single day, and we're doing that by overcoming obstacles that are in front of us. So some are easy and some are hard. Mm-hmm. So it's not easy, but it doesn't mean that we should feel sorry for ourselves. It doesn't mean that and again, this is coming from the guy who, I know there are people out there who have by far harder lives than me.
Sure.
And I appreciate the life that I have. I do. At the same time, I do like to think about it as my life is my doing, meaning I made subset of decisions in my past that put me in a position that I am today. Hence, we wouldn't having this podcast if, 9 years ago, I didn't decide to open an academy.
Right.
And then a handful of years later, I didn't decide to make it the scariest decision of my life and leave my career.
Oh, I thought
And
that was hiring me.
hire you. No, that was the second scariest part. So, but listen, and I think oftentimes people will say, "Oh, you have it so easy because blah 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 blah." But we sometimes we don't look what that person has done
Right.
to have that perspective or the perception of what we see. Oftentimes, the success, whatever that means, personal, business, career, family, whatever that means, that the point of success comes with a lot of struggle. It comes with a lot of obstacles. It comes with a lot of sacrifices. And that is not seen. Because honestly, most of the people who are successful, they don't show the things that they fail at. They don't show the things that were obstacles. You know what I mean? They continue looking forward and continue grinding. I mean, maybe this is just me. I don't know.
No,
I might be
you're
wrong
right.
on this.
No, I think you're right. And I think that's a good place to leave it.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.